The fair use doctrine of United States copyright law states the fair use of a copyrighted work, including such use by reproduction and copies of phonorecords or by any other means specified by that section for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research, is not an infringement of copyright. In other words, I'm within my rights. Greetings, everyone. This is Sawmill Turtle, and welcome to the show. I have great news. I am finally delivering on my promise to review My Hero Academia. I finished it a couple of days ago. I've been sitting and waiting to do this review simply because I've been isolated with Hulu and the 3 seasons that are available. I haven't interacted with the fans simply because I don't like spoilers. I hate spoilers. And when you arrive this late to the party, there are going to be spoilers because people expect that you've been caught up to a certain point. Like, there's a certain point in the past where spoilers are acceptable. Like, usually it's no more than a few weeks. Like, you haven't seen those episodes by then, you venture into the fandom at your own risk because they're going to be talking about those things. They're going to be discussing at length what happened. Like, they might give you a grace period. They might. But, and etiquette dictates that on places like message boards, Facebook groups, and stuff like that, you usually give it a few days, a couple of weeks in some places that are especially generous, but you don't give them 3 years. And I'm about 3 years behind. So I couldn't just go barreling into the community until I'd watched everything, because I'm not going to have everything spoiled for me. As it is, the last couple days that I've spent looking at the fan base and trying to determine what kind of people they are, I've already seen spoilers for the manga that follows the cutoff point of season 3 of the anime, and I don't like that. I don't like that I know what's going to happen next. I don't like that at all. And so I've spent the last couple of days just trying to get a feel for the fandom, and the truth of the matter is well, we'll get into that later. For right now, let's just focus on the show itself and the characters, and we'll start with the main character. The show is the basic premise of the show is you have a world populated by superheroes. 80% of the population has superpowers, 20% don't. These superpowers are called quirks, and they can range from everything from the ability to shoot flames, to breathe fire, to breathe underwater, to vomit up your own stomach, to fly, to just about anything you can imagine. To levitate objects, and these abilities have been going on for generations. Well, the main character, Midoriya, was born quirkless. He was one of the 20% born without an ability. And so it's always given him a distinct disadvantage, to the point where the other children bully him, they ridicule him, they mock him, they make his life miserable. All he's ever wanted was to be like his favorite superhero, All Might. Like, he idolizes All Might. Like, he puts All Might on such a place, like such an elevated pedestal, that it's absolutely unreal. He's got All Might posters, he's got All Might merchandise everywhere. But he doesn't have a quirk of his own, so when he finds out, he tries to he starts studying heroes. He creates a notebook just filled with information on heroes and the people around him who have quirks, and how they do different things. So he's studying techniques and whatnot, even though he has no quirk to put these to any kind of practical application. One day he happens to stumble into a situation where his life is in danger. All Might comes to save him. Yeah, so some other things happen, and then All Might decides that he's worthy of inheriting his quirk, which All Might inherited from somebody else. And so he gets this power, and the whole thing spirals from there. He goes to this prestigious, essentially the Hogwarts of superhero academies. It's essentially a very Harry Potter type of story. Like, oh, you're a superhero, Midoriya. Oh, what? A superhero, and a thumping good one once you're trained up a bit. And who's the Dumbledore in this story? All Might, of course. All Might, who takes this little boy who is essentially friendless, quirkless, and a reject, and turns and slowly begins to develop him into a proper hero, to teach him how to use this power that he wasn't born with. For the first 14 years of his life, he didn't have a quirk. Everybody else around him has had all this time to develop their quirks, so they're familiar with it. But this kid has no idea. So this is a brand new thing to him. So he's breaking his arms and legs all the time, and and damaging his body and all this stuff. And he gradually becomes stronger and stronger, which angers his childhood nemesis Bakugo, or should I call him Vegeta, Prince of Saiyans? If you look at the two characters, they're essentially the same. Prone to outbursts of irrational anger, fits of violence, think that they're better than everyone, think that they're better than the protagonist, can't understand why the protagonist is surpassing them in power, think that the protagonist should be below them, think everybody else should be below them, abuse, threaten, and otherwise make everyone else around them miserable. They're the same character. That same overblown sense of entitlement and that same ego. Like, the only difference is that while Vegeta shoots Kai blasts, Bakugo has flaming sweat. Alright. So, it creates this weird dynamic because Bakugo has never seen Midoriya with a quirk before, so his dander is immediately up, thinking that Midoriya has been hiding it from him for 14 years. And he tries to make his life as miserable as possible. He continues to mock him, to try to bully him, to intimidate him, but Midoriya is beyond being intimidated now because he's got a quirk of his own. But that doesn't change the rest of his school life, which is miserable. Because when he's not being attacked by the League of Villains irrationally, like they are constantly in pursuit of him. When he's not being ridiculously pursued by the League of Villains, he's being given exams that can only be described as rigged. He's put in sports competitions that can only be described as unfair and unbalanced because he wins the preliminary round, and then he's immediately worth 10 million points to anybody who can beat him in the next round. So they put a $10 million price tag on the head of the guy who tries the hardest. Like, that's teaching for the win right there. That's how you teach the right way. Yeah, teach that kid that, hey, the world is full of scumbags, and they're all just waiting to stab you in the back and wait for a good opportunity to throw you under the motherfucking bus. That's how you teach. That's a real school right there. But his life never gets any better. Like, every day is misery. It's like this kid doesn't have a good day. Here, watch this little thing I put together. Check this out.
Dear Journal, this is Deku. But I guess you'll always know me as Midoriya, huh? I guess we have some catching up to do. My time at UA has gotten better since we talked last. By better, I mean I haven't broken any bones recently. By recently, I mean in the last few days. But hey, I've managed to survive high school for this long. It's weird to have to say, I've managed to survive high school. How many other people in the world have this problem? Is this a UA problem, or is it only since I've started going there? Don't recall anyone else telling stories of fighting off the League of Villains repeatedly. If I were to look at the yearbooks of UA alumni over the last 50 years or so, how many of them would say things like, hey, good job not getting killed, and for living to see graduation day? Really? I mean, since I started there, I've had my arms broken, repeatedly. I've had my legs broken, at least once. I've had members of the League of Villains surround me, Mineta and Asui. Sorry, Sue. And try to kill us in what was supposed to be a training exercise. I did well at the sports festival, especially in the first round, but then they punished me for excelling by putting a 10 million point bounty on my head. Seriously, what the hell is their problem? What is the lesson I'm supposed to take from this? That it's terrible to excel? That people are scumbags who will turn on you if the price is high enough? I'm not sure, but I don't think I like either one of those lessons. I don't think I liked that sports festival either. I was doing okay until Todoroki made it all about him. He had this big issue about using his fire quirk because his daddy has a fire quirk and he hates his daddy. So I was kicking the living shit out of him. I told him to grow a set and stop being a hoe. So he did. And then I broke my arms. Again. Journal, I think this school seriously has it in for its students. When we took our final exams, they put 2 of my classmates in a hopeless situation against the sadistic hamster, Principal Nezu. I swear he was laughing at them. Actually laughing at them while they failed his test. Then I had to work with that damn Bakugo against All Might of all people. That's right, fucking All Might. The guy who could play jump rope with the massive cables of a suspension bridge. Like, hey, you know how we can really fuck over that green-haired kid? Let's make him take his final exam with a guy who has an ego more massive than All Might's codpiece. And incidentally, who also hates his guts. And then we'll make him actually fight All Might. Dude, that's fucked up. Fucked up? You haven't worked here long, have you? Did I pass? Fucking barely. All Might beat on us like an angry pimp beats on a hoe who has forgotten her place. But that's been my life since joining UA Journal. It hasn't been easy. At all. Or ever. It's never been easy at all. To be honest with you, it's been terrible. As if you couldn't tell. Recently, my friends and I went to the mall to try and get some leisure time in before training camp. Is it so unreasonable to ask for one day, one motherfucking day, where someone isn't trying to kill me? I spent the entire day with Tomoro Shigaraki's hand around my throat. Of course I did. God knows it's impossible for me to have fun without ending up getting strangled or getting my bones broken. Well, training camp is going well anyway. Thus far, I haven't injured myself or anyone else. I did get kicked in the balls by a miserable little kid, but if that's all I'm going to have to endure on this trip, I'll call it a win. I mean, hey, at least the League of Villains hasn't invaded, flooded the place with mustard gas, and set the woods on fire.
And that's not even like an exaggeration. He is frequently attacked. That thing with the mall, that didn't make that up. He actually went shopping for new clothes and supplies to go on this training camp thing, and the leader of the League of Villains manages to get him by the throat and holds him that way for the entire episode. This kid, as I said, this kid doesn't have a good day. I feel sorry for this kid. Everything about his life since meeting All Might has been so much worse. Absolutely terrible. Like, he was in a bad position before. Like, he was like, or he was one of the 20%. He had no abilities. He was just going to be a normal guy who couldn't do anything but like the rest of us do today. Just get a job, work with his hands and feet, and just kind of watch everybody else with their superpowers. Like, man, it'd be nice to have that. But he, this was his destiny. It wasn't a great destiny, but it was a safe one. Now he's being threatened all the time. He's constantly breaking his arms and legs. He's being held captive. He's watching his friends be kidnapped and taken to God knows where. But I have to say, for all of my criticisms about how Midoriya's life has gone right into the proverbial commode since meeting All Might, and all the terrible things that have happened to him, including the mustard gas, the show is very good. Honestly, like his interactions with All Might are one of my favorite things about this series. Sincerely, like all the things that when the show starts, he refers to Midoriya as a fanboy and as creepy. So essentially, he thinks of him at the beginning as a creepy fanboy, and gradually over the course of the series, their relationship improves. And I've really grown to look forward to their scenes together to see how much their relationship develops. And by the third season, he's gone from thinking of Midoriya as a creepy fanboy who's far too obvious in his attempts to emulate him to being on his face before Midoriya's mother, begging her to not just let him teach the boy, but to raise him like a son. That's growth. That's impressive. I love everything about this series, honestly. And there's a diverse range of background characters, supporting characters, some that have so little screen time or are so unimportant that I can't be bothered to remember their names. Like Invisible Girl. Like, what exactly is it that you do? Like, everybody is trying to develop their ultimate moves for the provisional licensing exam. Like, oh yeah, you got to come up with some kind of super, like, ultimate finishing move. Something with wow, like, that you can pull out. And when the stakes are really down, when you have to pull out your trump card, this is your finishing move that could mean the difference between victory and defeat. What are you gonna do, Invisible Girl? Become more invisible? Like, what exactly is it that you could do to improve upon that, other than take off all of your clothes so you are absolutely invisible so nobody can see you? Like, oh yeah, you got naked. Well, congratulations. That's your finishing move. I get naked. Well, okay, you don't impress me. I don't even remember what your name is. I mean, you've got characters like Todoroki, who apparently has two quirks, which is very strange. He's got fire and ice. Even in that world, being natural born with two different quirks is a very strange thing. I've mentioned Bakugo. I will not talk about Mineta. In fact, looking at a video by Dorkly about Mineta and a couple other videos here on YouTube have given me some very negative impressions about the MHA fan base, to the point that I'm not sure that I want to do another one of these videos after this one. I did this one out of a promise, but I've seen some comments. I've seen the way that people act. I've seen people get in heated debates over Mineta. I've seen people from this country blast Western audiences for not understanding the subtleties of Japanese television and anime and everything that they're trying to do. Like, oh, you need to keep your such Western ideals out of anime, because blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what kind of people are these? And then I look at, I was looking for videos for this video. I was looking for reference material that I put in those little boxes right there. I was looking for clips for this video, and I did a search for Bakugo. I saw lists and lists and lists of the most unbelievable yaoi pairings involving Bakugo, including Yakugo paired with whoever's listening to the audio of the video. Yaoi, your Bakugo ex-listener. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, what kind of fandom did I join here? Like, this is my impression of this fandom right now. Here, take a look at this.
And that is why anime can only come from Japan, regardless of what you Avatar fanboys think. And that is why The Last Airbender will never be anime. It's not from Japan, so it's nothing but a cartoon show. No better than SpongeBob SquarePants. Cow and chicken. What do you think of that, posers? That's right. The Airbender might as well be cow and chicken.
Neil, are you okay? You've been in there for a while.
I'm fine, Ma. Go away.
You're not having trouble making poopsies again, are you?
For Christ's sake, Ma, I'm live streaming.
I'll bet you were in the peanut butter again. You always love that peanut butter, even though you know it makes your poops too hard to pierce.
I'm not having trouble pooping.
Do you need Mommy to get the enema bulb in some warm water?
Ma, go away for the love of God. The internet is watching.
Don't you talk to me that way just 'cause you can't go number 2, mister.
I'm not trying to go number 2.
What's going on in there, Neil? You've been in the bathroom for an hour.
I'm just live streaming, Dad.
What's that? I don't know what that is. Is that a code word for that thing I caught you doing when you was 13 and you had your sister's panties wrapped around you?
Dad, shut up for the love of God!
Hey, who the hell you think you are talking to me like that? What's wrong with him, Bob? Why is he acting like this? Is he sick? Look what you did, you smart-ass little punk. You made your poor mother cry. Where did we go wrong? What did we do?
Dad, please!
You're gonna open this door right now, Neil, or I'm gonna give you the ass kicking I should have given you when you were 5, and your mama caught you parading around in your sister's cheerleading outfit, going, I'm a sailor from the moon.
It's Sailor Moon, Dad! And Mom, you said that would stay between us.
I was worried, son. You were wearing a skirt and you had your hair in braids. You were waving around the toilet brush and saying things I didn't understand. Now you got 3 seconds. Do you hear me? If this door don't open by the time I get to 3, I'm gonna put my foot so hard up your ass, you're gonna be sailing over the moon.
Dad, there are 50,000 people!
1,
Dad, stop!
2,
I have to go, everyone. Remember, true anime only comes from Japan.
3.
And that might not be fair, but I mean, that's the impression that some of these people are giving off. Like, these people are just like the most like sweaty neck bearded fanboys and fangirls I've ever seen. And and that's why when it comes to Mineta, no sir. Like, we will not talk about controversy here. We keep it civil and we keep it friendly here. Like, I did that as, I was being, way over the top with that little skit that I did right there, but you get the idea. I wasn't trying to be ugly, because obviously I don't know if there's anybody that extreme. God, I hope not. But in any case, I'm gonna jump off of here. I have rambled on for a good 16, 17 minutes. I don't even know how long, with all the edits and the skits and everything that I put in here. I'm not sure how long this video is gonna run, but I know it's been a while. So, everybody, feel free to comment down there. Like if you like it, dislike it if you don't like it, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And please do feel free to come back. I appreciate everybody who drops by. I appreciate everybody who comments. You are all, a big part of the reason that I do this. The entire reason I do this. Because if it wasn't for you, I'd just be making these videos to talk to myself. So, until next time, my friends, take care.